Welcome everyone to this module on change management for SMEs, part of the Erasmus Plus project Precius. This micro-lecture is designed to equip you with the knowledge and tools necessary to navigate the ever-changing business landscape. We'll explore how small businesses can not only adapt to change but also lead it, embrace innovation, and build resilience for long-term success. Let's take a quick look at what we'll be covering today. First, we'll discuss why adaptability is so crucial for SMEs in today's dynamic environment. Then we'll dive into established change management frameworks like Kotter's 8-step model and the ADKAR model. We'll also explore how to build adaptive capacity within your organization by focusing on culture, skills, and employee empowerment. We'll then narrow our focus to sustainability transitions and digital transformation, followed by a real-world SME case study. Finally, we'll identify common barriers to change and how to overcome them, and wrap up with key takeaways you can immediately apply. First, let's set the stage. SMEs operate in a dynamic environment. Rapid changes in technology, intense competition, and even global crises mean that the business landscape is often turbulent. Research confirms that adaptability is essential for survival. Companies need to be not just ready for change, but constantly adapting. In fact, studies have found that around 60 to 70% of organizational change initiatives fail to meet their goals. That's a sobering statistic, and it highlights why effective change management is so important. For SME leaders, the takeaway is that change isn't a one-time event, it's an ongoing part of business. Embracing this reality can turn turbulence into opportunity, helping your small business survive and thrive in the long run. So how can we manage change effectively? Let's look at a classic framework, Kotter's 8-step model. John Kotter, a Harvard professor, outlined 8 steps to lead successful change. Create a sense of urgency. As an SME leader, you must communicate to your team why a change is necessary. For example, if customer preferences are shifting or a new sustainability regulation is looming, explain the risk of standing still and the urgency to act. Build a guiding coalition. Identify a few key team members or partners who can champion the change with you. Even in a small business, you need allies to spread enthusiasm. Form a strategic vision and initiatives. Paint a clear picture of what the successful change will look like. Maybe it's a vision of your company offering new digital services or becoming carbon neutral. Communicate the vision and do it often. Bring everyone on board by sharing the vision in team meetings, emails, and informal chats. Repetition and clarity are key. Empower broad action. Remove obstacles for your employees. For instance, if an old policy or lack of training is holding people back, address it so that your team feels enabled to act. Generate short-term wins. Celebrate small victories early on. In an SME, this could be something like the first successful trial of a new process or a first green certification. Share the news and reward the team, keeping morale high. Sustain acceleration. Don't declare victory too soon. Encourage continuous improvement and keep pushing through multiple rounds of change. Institute change. Anchor new approaches in your culture by updating procedures, job roles, and even values to reflect the new way of doing things. In essence, Kotter's framework gives a step-by-step roadmap that can provide structure to what can otherwise feel like a chaotic process. Another useful framework, especially for the people side of change, is the ADKAR model. ADKAR is an acronym representing 5 building blocks of individual change: awareness, desire, knowledge, ability, and reinforcement. Awareness. Your employees need to know why the change is happening. For example, you might share market research or client feedback to make everyone aware of the need for a new strategy. Desire. It's about getting people to want to participate by addressing what's in it for me. You might identify informal leaders who can influence others as champions or mentors. Knowledge. Provide training, information, and education so everyone knows how to change. If you're implementing new software, invest time in workshops so the team gains the necessary skills. Ability. Practice and coaching ensure people can apply new skills on the job. Maybe you run a pilot project or give employees time to practice new procedures with support. Reinforcement. Cement the change through ongoing support and recognition, such as new metrics, rewards, or continued follow-up so the change sticks. Research in SMEs shows that applying ADKAR alongside good transformational leadership significantly increases change implementation success. Combine a people-centric approach like ADKAR with the big picture steps from Kotter, and you have a strong toolkit for change. Beyond frameworks, let's talk about building adaptive capacity in your business, your organization's ability to learn and adapt continuously. This starts with fostering an adaptive culture, a work environment open to new ideas where change is an opportunity rather than a threat. Encourage your team to experiment and voice suggestions. For example, some SMEs hold regular brainstorming sessions or innovation Fridays to signal that continuous improvement is part of the culture. Academic studies integrating dynamic capabilities theory find that SMEs with higher adaptability and an action-oriented culture perform better financially. Adaptability was linked to taking action and seizing opportunities, and these links were strongest in companies that encouraged reasonable risk-taking. If employees fear punishment for failure, they'll avoid trying new things. Giving people permission to fail and learn actually increases agility. Employee empowerment matters too. SMEs are typically lean, which can be an advantage. You can empower staff to make decisions without heavy bureaucracy. Cross-training and multi-skilled teams raise adaptive capacity because members can shift roles when needed. Think of cultivating a resilient athlete. You want your company to be flexible and strong, able to pivot when conditions change. Recognize that building adaptive capacity is ongoing. Conduct regular training, hold after-action reviews to capture lessons learned, and stay plugged into industry networks so you can anticipate change. Over time, an SME that routinely reinvents its strategies, structures, and processes will find it easier to navigate big transitions. Be proactive about adaptability. Cultivate a learning mindset and nimble practices before a crisis forces you to. Now let's focus on a specific arena of change: sustainability transitions. Many SMEs today face pressure to become greener, reducing carbon emissions, cutting waste, or improving social impact, especially with initiatives like the European Green Deal. Start with a clear sustainability vision, e.g., powering your facilities with 100% renewable energy by 2030 or achieving zero waste. Linking this vision to your company's core mission can motivate your team. Employees often feel proud to work for a business with strong values. Break the vision into tangible targets such as reduce energy use by 20% next year. Engage your team. Sustainability changes can affect daily routines, so involve employees in planning. Create a cross-department green team to gather ideas and act as ambassadors. Training and upskilling are vital if you're adopting new sustainable technologies or circular economy models. Address questions or skepticism by communicating both ethical and business benefits. Energy-efficient processes reduce utility bills, and eco-friendly products attract new customers. Share early wins to keep momentum high. SMEs collectively account for an estimated 60 to 70% of industrial pollution, so every improvement matters. Finally, lead by example. If leadership demonstrates commitment, integrating sustainability metrics into reviews or adopting greener personal habits, it signals that this is a core strategy, not a fad. With strong leadership, your team can turn sustainability from a compliance task into a source of innovation and pride. Let's bring this to life with a real SME case. Consider an SME in Australia that took part in a pilot program called Circular Economy for Business. One case study firm in food processing learned to convert its organic waste into useful products like compost or animal feed. Another SME in textiles found ways to reuse or recycle offcuts instead of sending them to landfill. These businesses received training on circular economy principles and one-on-one mentoring. Results included reduced disposal costs for the food SME and a take-back scheme that attracted eco-conscious customers for the textile SME. Challenges, such as navigating health regulations or investing in new equipment, were overcome with support. The lesson: when funding, expert guidance, and peer networks are available, even micro-businesses can pioneer sustainable innovations. What are some of the typical barriers that prevent SMEs from embracing change? Not every change attempt goes smoothly. Common barriers faced by SMEs include risk aversion, we've always done it this way, or fear of investing in something new. Short-term focus, day-to-day survival leaves little time or money for long-term change. Limited resources and knowledge, no in-house change manager or specialist expertise. Employee resistance, worries about job security or being overwhelmed. External hurdles: difficulty accessing finance, market uncertainty, complex regulations, technology gaps such as poor internet or cybersecurity concerns. Awareness of these barriers is the first step to overcoming them. For example, if resource limitations are a barrier, consider outsourcing expertise temporarily or collaborating with peer firms for joint training. We'll look next at what enables successful change. Once you've identified the specific challenges you're facing, you can choose a targeted solution to address each one. So, what are some proven enablers that can help SMEs make change stick? Key enablers of successful change in SMEs include leadership commitment and a clear vision. Change starts at the top. A clear North Star keeps everyone aligned. Effective communication and employee involvement. Explain the why, listen to concerns, and identify change champions. Skill development and resources. Provide training, time, budget, and tools dedicated to the change project. An innovative, open culture. Celebrate experimentation and treat failures as learning opportunities. External support. Leverage networks, mentors, grants, or consultants to fill expertise or funding gaps. Phased implementation with milestones. Break change into manageable chunks and celebrate each win, building momentum. When these factors align, even small firms with limited means can execute big transformations effectively. We've covered a lot of ground, so let's wrap up with a few key takeaways. Embrace change as a constant. The ability to adapt is now a core competitive advantage for SMEs. Use structured frameworks, Kotter's 8 steps, ADKAR, to guide your efforts. Focus on people, communicate, listen, involve, and reward learning. Think long-term but act incrementally. Small, concrete projects build your organization's change muscle. Remember the success stories. SMEs that pivoted to circular practices or digital models show that size is no barrier. Nimbleness can be an advantage. Stay adaptable, keep your team motivated, and continue innovating through change. Thank you for joining this micro lecture. Now go lead that change. To further enhance your knowledge and understanding of change management, we've compiled a list of references for you. These articles and reports cover a wide range of topics related to business, management, and sustainability. We encourage you to explore these resources. Finally, we encourage you to connect and discuss with other peers on a forum in Canvas. This is a great opportunity to share your experiences, ask questions, and learn from others who are also navigating the challenges of change management. Thank you for participating in this module, which is funded by the Erasmus Plus program of the European Union. We hope you found it informative and inspiring.